Welcome to Health Facts with Normani Ricks. I am your host, Normani Ricks. I like to start each episode with a health fact. Did you know by just knowing your blood type, you can be healthier? Yes, we're going to talk to our guests today about all of those things. And you need to ask your primary care physician to take your blood to know what your blood type is so you can get healthier and your metabolism can go up. So I would like to welcome Miss Ayesha Goodall to the show. Welcome, Miss Ayesha.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, she is a fitness instructor, a wellness, health and wellness expert, a self-love expert, and she is a fit mom. So we are excited to have her as a guest.
Yes.
When I heard your name, I wanted to sing the song, Ayesha.
I used to get that all the time. All the time.
All right. So Miss Ayesha is out of Carson, California. How's the weather out there?
It's raining today. It's been on and off raining. Yeah. So yesterday the sun was out, but it was cool and brisk. And then today it's raining. So this is our second day in the week that we've had rain.
Okay. I'm in Atlanta and it's raining here as well. So
okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about your fitness business. How long have you been in business?
Started it in 2016. Fully launched Soulpreneur this year after the COVID pandemic. So just focusing on I was focusing on the rebranding and premium packaging because I am a luxury premium fitness boutique. So it's more than just being in the gym. It's also nutrition, it's wellness, it's embracing self-love. And, my target are like boss moms who lose their cool. Sometimes we get lost in the sauce of being mom and dad at the same, wearing both hats, and then being, being the, what is it called? The soccer mom, the basketball mom, the football mom, and raising teenagers. Yeah. So.
Right. I'm a soccer mom and a track mom, so I get it.
Yes. So just, being in the space to help these women blend mindset to fitness and nutrition.
Right. So talk about some of the courses and classes that you offer to just for the moms in general at first, and then we'll dive into more things.
Okay, so I do have a program. It is the Blood Type Nutrition Program. And of course, it's becoming more aware of what your blood type is. Culturally, we're not tapped in. And to know and eat right for your blood type is very essential. It actually eliminates a lot of and prevents disease. So some of those fruits and vegetables that we think we're eating that are good for our system and metabolism may not be. And the older we get, because our metabolism slows down, we need to pay attention to what we're putting in our body, because that program will help you realize that maybe those highs or the allergies that you have are food related.
That's exactly what I was going to say next. I know a lot of foods can cause inflammatory reactions. I did a cleanse once, and then after I came back from the cleanse, I couldn't eat certain foods. Like I couldn't eat red meat anymore. I felt so nauseous. And then I stopped eating pork about 2 years ago because I watched a documentary and it was disgusting. So I stopped eating pork. But no, I just noticed the sensitivity to certain things after I did the cleanse. And I didn't even know those things were inflammatory for me.
Yeah. So that's the thing is, becoming aware and educating, our culture or just, globally what it means to eat right for your blood type. There's also fitness for your blood type. Your blood type sometimes may not call for, high cardio exercising. It might be Zumba and Pilates, but you'll know because you have to listen to your body and what eating right for your blood type does. Because I was a vegetarian for 14 years when I was 21, when it wasn't a thing. I'm 47 today. Now it is a thing.
Wow, you look good. 47. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. So it's just eating right and fitness is definitely my therapy.
Okay.
And it keeps me sane, because as you know, as a mom raising children, we don't have the playbook. We have to kind of go along the way and tap
Right.
into our resources or becoming resourceful, and then also keep our cup full so that we can be whole for our kids.
Right.
So yeah, so eating right for your blood type has saved my life, literally.
Right. I had some friends that have PCOS, and I was talking to them and some other doctors about like high intensity aerobic exercise may make PCOS worse. So
Well,
yeah.
high intensity aerobics helps with the respiratory. So, for instance, I'm an O positive blood type, and although I've been around fitness and wellness my whole life, my mom was a fitness enthusiast, my grandmother was a holistic, advocate. So I call myself the healthy witch doctor when we have all this stuff going on. My cabinets are full of herbs. But the high cardio workout does help with the respiratory. And if you notice, even now, medical professionals are encouraging the walks, the runs,
Yep.
whatever, to keep your heart rate up and to keep your respiratory system healthy. And so I was told for my blood type that if I didn't heighten my cardio and drink my water at the age of 40, I might just pass out and die. That's what my
Oh
holistic
no.
doctor told me. My holistic doctor is no joke. He has no filter. So
Mhm.
I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm 40. And I'll go ahead and do what you say. I'll up my water intake and I'll do high impact aerobics. And now I'm an aerobics teacher for the Extreme Hip Hop brand. By feel, if you all are not aware of that style of aerobics, is super high impact. So
Okay.
now
Okay.
here I am today, and I'm just like, I feel great. I feel
Good,
great.
good, good. Now I know that a lot of people are into like naturopaths and naturopathic medicine and holistic doctors, like you just mentioned. Can you speak a little bit more on that?
Yeah, so of course we are created. That's my belief system, is we were created. I believe in Adam and Eve. And once we die, it's like to the dust we return, right? So
Mhm.
we are from the earth. So herbs, they're from the earth, holistic healing. But the thing is that you got to do that early. Like my kids, they
Mhm.
open up the herbal capsules in their mouth and drink orange juice behind it.
Oh wow, that's
And my
awesome.
kids are young. They've been doing that since they were like 5 years old. And I have an 11 and 13-year-old, and then my 19-year-old. So they're familiar with that. And that's how I was raised. So
Okay.
my advice in that space is, I always had, it was like a catch 22 for me, because people who face chronic illness and they catch it late, of
Mhm.
course it's like they want to listen to everything the doctor says, because they're now at stage 3 and 4.
Oh my God.
Is there a possibility to heal through that? Absolutely, because I know people who have healed through that. However, I listen to my body. So
Mhm.
when you hear that people have, like, oh my God, she died so suddenly, or he died so suddenly, there were signs.
Yeah.
The body was talking to them to let them know.
Oh wow.
But a lot of people live in a space of fear,
Mhm.
of the unknown, and fear kills you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of
It
the
will
day.
kill you.
And I don't mean to sound so abrasive or curt about it, but if you're not taking care of yourself early on, like I tell my kids now, if you're eating the salt and sugar now,
Mhm.
you're going to pay for it in your 30s and 40s, and probably
Absolutely.
earlier, because now these kids are having high blood pressure issues at a very early age, before the age of 15.
Yep.
And that's, a lot of that is environmental too, and in our foods.
Mhm.
So I just keep it as a balance. I feel my belief system is that blood type regimen is definitely a game changer.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the courses that you offer.
Okay, so I have the blood type program, nutrition program. I have the Unleash with Coach Ish, and that's all collective, the blood type program, the nutrition program. I do a fit vision board mastery
Oh
class
yes,
to
we love the
actually put
vision board parties.
to actually
Yes.
take 3 tiers of your fitness and wellness goals and focusing and putting them on a board. So
Mhm.
that the Unleash with Coach Ish includes that. It also helps with your relationships, because I am an author of the Single Mom Survival Guide and Dating the Single Mom. And that taps into self-love, building a healthy relationship within, and also tapping into your inner child.
Right.
So when you unleash with Coach Ish, you're unleashing on all of those levels.
Do you have a degree in psychology?
I went to school for psychology. I did. I did not go and take the test or anything like that, but definitely found my niche in what sets my soul on fire. And this sets my soul on fire is displaying self-love through fitness and wellness and tapping into your inner child.
Yes. So when you talk about tapping into the inner child, a lot of people don't talk about that because a lot of these issues and attachment that we have with food and stuff, it's like, oh, I want to feel good. I want that rush. So if you can just kind of like overcome those self-destructive behaviors, it helps you be able to love yourself and want to look good and want to feel good and all of that every day. And then you have to, as a parent in general, you want to be able to pour from a full cup and not an empty cup, like you said before. So yeah, I definitely know that that's necessary.
Yes. And so the third program is my personal training.
Okay.
And so that's where the Zen Fit comes in all three tiers. I said earlier, I was on the Zoom earlier, and I said, you know what? I'm a three-dimensional kind of lady. You know what I'm saying? Everything comes in three for me. So it's personal training, it's nutrition, and it's also self-love, mastery, and evolution.
Yeah.
So those three things all connect, and that's where the Zen Fit connect. Being okay and in a relaxed state of mind to not have it all together all the time.
Right. So is
And
that
to
where you
be,
got Zen from?
yes, Zen
Okay.
Fit, yes, a relaxed energy to be okay without being okay.
All right. So on a day basis, what does your day look like for Ayesha?
Well, I do a lot of personal training. So I take 5 to 7 women in on a monthly basis. And sometimes those are the same clients because they actually, reconnect and recommit to my programs.
Okay.
And what I would do is I take them to the gym. I work them out. I create a customized meal plan for them. I am very accessible to them. I do it virtually and I do it physically. Well, because now we're in COVID, it depends on, and now we're about to embark on another, phase of COVID. It's kind of interesting. But what my day is I spend about 3 hours in personal training. I spend about 2 hours on calls.
Okay.
And then I take time for myself to refill my cup.
I love
Because
that you said that.
I am an empath. So you talked about psychology. I take on energies all the time. And everybody collectively, what we're recognizing in this pandemic is we're all similar energetically. And we all go through the same things, just at different times. And so how we react versus respond, it impacts those around us. So when we're in a service-based space like myself, I'm like taking on the energy. So I'll spend at least 6 hours with my clients throughout the day. I take my snack breaks, I take my lunch break, but I also spend an hour to myself, like just without eating, without, other people around me, kids or whatever the case may be, just to fill my cup up because I also have children that I have to pour into too. So I make sure home base is good first and then I pour into my clients.
Okay. So during these trying times that we're in right now, I know I try to focus on vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, elderberry. Do you have any other recommendations for anyone as far as nutrients and vitamins are concerned?
Yes. So I collaborated with a young lady who's just like my grandmother. She has her own holistic cabinet type of company, and it's called More Essentials. And more, the MOR comes from the moringa plant. So anything and everything moringa is definitely a go-to, especially for the respiratory system. And also too, I would say, or oregano. So you have the oregano capsules and the oil of oregano. The oil of oregano is the drops of oil that go straight to your bloodstream. Very strong, but I would say drink it down with water, lemon water, something like that. Also too, you said the vitamin D3, the zinc, the vitamin C, black seed oil.
Yes, black seed oil, yes.
Black seed oil is a savior. Now that we're up on this Omicron variant, what's helping is colloidal silver.
Okay,
So
I've heard of that one.
yeah, it is. It's actually, so, you know, you can get that at your, I don't know if you guys have a Sprouts, but I'm sure Whole Foods there,
We do. We
or
have
whatever
both.
the case. Those stores carry colloidal silver, or if you know someone who is an herbal enthusiast, you know, I have a lot of them around me, but we are definitely nationwide. So the More Essentials brand that I've partnered up with, it's so funny you asked that, we're doing a tutorial on it as we are
Yes.
doing here
Okay.
tomorrow live on Facebook. So
Right.
stay tuned for that, because right now, every time I pick up the phone, every time I turn on Facebook, IG, somebody I know has this Omicron variant. And it's like catching a cold.
It
So
is.
all I say to people, if you think you have a sniffle, or you feel you have a headache, an earache, body ache, whatever, it is not a sinus infection. Already self-diagnosed, you know, because you just don't know now. We are in a stage of, you know, flu season right now, but you still don't know, because what is COVID is the flu. It's a version of the flu. So those are the things that I would say. And people also too, citrus is so essential.
Yes, vitamin C.
Vitamin C is very essential. Lemons, lime, you know, for my blood type, we're not supposed to eat oranges, but you know, I do it, you know, of course, in moderation. Again, I listen to my body. So my advice is say, for instance, my blood type is O positive. It is a carnivore blood type.
Okay.
But now we're living in this green space. Everybody wants to be a vegan and a vegetarian. But what I learned from having babies is being O positive and not knowing blood type. My children took my nutrients. So I went from 170 pounds, you know, birth at the delivery table, and then dropped down to 97 pounds
Oh
2-3
my
weeks
God.
later. That's not healthy,
Wow.
you know? So when the
That's
doctor was like,
scary.
my doctors, fortunately enough, I'm grateful for them, because although they were medical doctors, they knew I was in a space of holistic healing. So it was like, okay, she's doing her research. So even though she's doing her research, I'm going to advocate for her, but just still tell her, until you find XYZ to help heal, do this in the meantime. And then it just pretty much shifted. I went from taking medication, from having, what is it? Not high, I had high blood pressure early on from stress. And then the doctor took me off 12 years ago after finding an herbal remedy where it forced the medication out of my system. I didn't need it anymore. So my thing is, listen to your body. No, I don't go pick up a steak often. I don't even eat steak, but I'll look at red meat alternatives if my body is craving it.
Right.
So if my body is like,
iron.
yes, I need, you know, so I'll do lamb, you know, I'll do veal, I'll do something like that. And then turkey, you know, chicken is not the best meat. Chicken is not the best meat. I know my holistic doctor was like, if I were to choose chicken over pork, I'm going to choose pork, because chicken has so many hormones. It causes mucus. It attaches to the respiratory system, you know, asthma, all those things that go on with the respiratory system. Chicken agitates that. So finding a healthy balance is my belief system. I'm not over the top with, oh no, I'm not going to eat this, or oh no, I'm not going to eat that. Now, if a health if a health issue prompted me to pay more attention in the green space or in the organic space, like I said, I live in a space of balance, then I will cater to that.
Right.
But I'm not fanatical about doing these diets and extreme, like, you know, changes.
So let me ask you a question. Is it the chicken itself, or the way the chicken is being produced?
It's the chicken, the way it's being produced.
Yeah.
So, but even if there is this, I have to look it up. I forgot the name of it, but there is a documentary on chicken. And even if you just watch the documentary, which turned me into a vegetarian at 21, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Just how the chickens are bred, and we
Yes,
don't know that when we're buying chicken in the grocery store. Even if they
absolutely.
are labeled a certain kind of way, you have to go to certain specialty stores to buy this meat,
Mhm,
to know that it's grazed and raised a certain kind of way.
mhm,
So we're so lazy in our thinking, America, let's just say
mhm.
America, that we don't take the time to do the research. We believe what we see in writing, or we don't understand what the labeling is.
Right.
So education in that is so key because it means our life at this point.
Right. So I know you brought up moringa earlier, moringa oleifera. I had some friends that were taking that, and then we looked it up, and it actually causes miscarriages. So people want to do the research on that and say, okay, if I'm pregnant, I don't need to take this as well. So I definitely want to put that out there. People can look that up.
Yeah, so the thing with pregnancy and herbs, do your research.
Hmm.
Again, it's about not believing everything around you, but saying, hey, this sounds great. Let me look into that. Just for instance, everybody is on this craze of um I just drew a blank of the herb that's yellow. What's the yellow powder that everybody is crazy about? It starts with a C. It's not cumin, but
I
anyway,
was going to say
uh,
cumin.
turmeric. It's turmeric.
Oh,
Sorry,
turmeric.
it starts
Okay.
with a
Uh-huh.
T. So that is supposed to, if you have low iron,
Mhm.
right, it actually blocks your blood flow
I
to
did
get the
not
proper
know that.
iron in your system. However, again, I'm back into the moderation,
Right.
eating it and consuming it in moderation, because people, when they find a good thing, they go overboard. And you can
Right.
you
That's
can
our
take a good
problem.
thing overboard and overdo it. But
Uh-huh.
moderation and education, my
Mhm.
2 words of this, for this interview:
Okay.
moderation and education.
Okay. So let's talk about the two books that you wrote. What are they called again? What's the names of the
I
book?
have the Single Mom Survival Guide.
Okay.
Moving on. Can you see that? Moving
Hmm.
on with life after divorce.
Okay.
And then I have Dating the Single Mom: What Men Need to Know and What Women Need to Do.
Oh, what women need to do. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, this is a favorite topic of mine. So both books, I was nudged to write it. Like literally, I wanted to come out with a self-help book on the law of attraction, right? And then when I met my publisher from the first book, he was like, you need to get your story out there so people could get to know who Ayesha is, build up your credibility, and then they'll trust you in the space of personal development. I
Right.
was like, okay, good, great. So he had already built the framework. I just need to insert my story in it. So I inserted my story because in 2010 was a very dark space for me. Went through separation, divorce, birth of a third child, and murder of my dad.
Oh my gosh. In
Yeah,
one
all
year, all of
in
that?
in a 90-day period in the same year. Yeah, so that was 2010. And then in 2011, with me, trying to keep my cape on and act like I had it all together, because everybody always says, you just make it look so easy. Everything is so easy. And I'm like suffering on the inside. But I did not know who I can trust and
Right.
call and say, I'm having a moment, or I'm not feeling mommy-ish today, whatever the case may be. So I worked for a hospital called Kaiser back then, and I had access to the psychology department. Well, here I go with my cape on, like, I got this. I'm going to call the psychology department and just tell them how I'm feeling about my husband, how I'm not feeling mommy-ish, and I just need a break. I need some help or whatever, get my head back on my shoulders. Well, trigger words. Wanted to bash my husband across the head with a bat. Sometimes not feeling like I want to be a mom. I was a great mom, great mom. My kids wanted and needed for nothing, never abused. And so when I'm expressing this to the other side, they're taking notes and they're like, okay, are you in a safe place? Where are your kids going to go? I need you to go to the emergency room and we're going to do an evaluation. And I'm like, okay, I'm compliant. Whatever you guys want me to do, I just need to get my head back on my shoulders. So
Right.
as I'm saying that, the head bash trigger words are prompting them to say that I'm crazy. She might,
Oh
she
no.
has her kids in harm's way right now. So
Right.
when I get to the hospital, sick people in the room, this is pre-COVID, of course, back in 2011, they have the doctor and the nurse waiting for me. I pass up all these sick people and they take me in the back. Like, oh, okay, so what are we doing? Miss Goodall? Yeah, that's me. Well, we want to take you in the room. We want to evaluate you. We have a psychiatrist on deck. He's going to take a story. At the time, I wasn't having good vibes with my supervisor. So it just was like everything was just haywire for me. And so when I was explaining to them sanely what was going on, the nurse from the nurses station came to me and she said, somebody's on the phone to talk to you. Well, it was the emergency response team from children's courts.
Okay.
Didn't know at the time. So
Okay.
he's like, what are they diagnosing you with? I need to know. Your kids are here with my spiritual sister. And so she gets on the phone and she's like, I'm just going to walk you through what's about to happen. She said, they're here to take your kids.
Oh my
She was
God.
like, but because my sister works for Children's Services, I'm walking them through, talking them through to at least keep the kids together and to put them with a family member instead of a stranger. And like, mind you, all I could describe this as is how you see the Tasmanian devil, like going around, and I'm like, this is like a whirlwind of, I don't know what just happened. So long story short, they took me in an ambulance to the psych ward.
Wow.
So I went to the psych ward and I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, just empty all your stuff. You can't have your phones. You can't have whatever. We're going to put you in the room, whatever. So I finally get in the room and the gentleman, the representative from the emergency response team, Black gentleman, chauvinistic, comes and just like sits across the table with this snarl on his face. Like, yeah, you just one of them pretty chicks that just, want everything. And then you want to call. I was like,
Feeling
wow.
judged.
Very judgmental. And so I was like, I know in that environment, I had to keep my cool because if I lost it, then they would have
It would
stabbed me
make things
crazy.
worse.
Yeah. So then they put me in a room with a viable, crazy young lady who literally sat on the bed, rocking back and forth. And I was like, this is not me. So if anything's going to make me crazy, this is going to make me crazy. So I literally put the sheet over my head. I got, 26 hours later, they wanted me to be in a group setting. And I was just sitting there with like, you guys are not going to make me talk. Like, I don't want to be here. So then the psychiatrist came on deck and she saw me individually and she was like, yeah, unfortunately, she said, after my review of your paperwork, she was like, you're not any parts of what they diagnosed you at.
What did they diagnose you with?
Suicidal ideation.
Oh, wow.
And I was at the time in my mind, I'm like, first of all, I know what suicide is, but ideation, what does that mean? And so they were like, well, you said you wanted to bash your ex-husband over the head with a bat. You weren't feeling the mommy, mood. And we thought your children would be in danger. And so as a psychiatrist said, she said, if anything, you don't need meds. She was like, you probably would need a sleeping pill so you can sleep. She was like, but we're going to try to get you out of here in the next 10 hours.
Okay, good.
So the first call I tried to make was my mom. And the moment she got on the phone, she was like, why? And I was like, oh my goodness. My aunt came to pick me up, my youngest aunt, we grew up like sisters. And she was like, Ayesha, like what happened? And I was like, I just didn't know who to call. And I called the wrong people. So now I'm in the system. And I fight to get my kids. Typically it takes 18 months for you to get your children.
Oh no, are you serious?
God willing, and by grace, I got my kids in 6 months.
Oh my goodness. So I can definitely see why you want to be a safe place for other women and other moms and all of that stuff, because that's a horror story. Oh my goodness. Wow.
So imagine I had to contend with my ex-husband who wasn't present with me and the kids, finally trying to show face in the court saying, I told y'all she crazy, but he was nowhere around. So I'm like, all right, so I got to eat this up. Parenting classes, anger management classes, anything that the court told me to do, I just had to eat humble pie and just do it because my passion was getting my kids back.
Right. And I think
So
that that is a struggle for a lot of us as women is humility, especially Black women, humility, learning who to trust. I think it's really hard to navigate the mental health system in general. So I applaud you for what you're doing for other women and women that have been in the situation that you've been in. Like, thank you for all that you do. I
thank you.
also wanted to talk about like your website, your merchandise that you have, because we want to be like Ayesha. We want to be Zen Fit. So let's see some of your merch. You have it on. It's
I
really
have, yeah. So
cute.
this is my brand new
It's
fitness
awesome.
apparel.
Okay.
And this is the bra and legging set. And so what
Okay.
it does, as you see, my colors are green and lavender. And
Hmm.
so I have 4 colors. I have black and with the lavender stitching in the pants. I have the purple with the green stitching in the pants. And then I have different styles. I have the Zen Fit here, and then I have the Zen Fit logo that's on the band. I don't know if you can
Okay.
see it, of each one too. So, but that's on my website. All of this is on my website. You know, it's hoodie season. So I don't know, I just felt this compassion and, compelled to have hoodies. So I started off with a hoodie jogger set,
Hmm.
but in production of that, the headache was getting our women to fit in these jogger pants because we're
Okay.
very curvaceous, and the way the
Right.
European cut, the cut is versus the American cut is apples and oranges. So
Hmm.
I just was like, you know what? I've learned my lesson there. I'm just going to stick with the Zen inspiration hoodies, messaged hoodies. So I have those. You can go to www.getzenfitapparel.com,
Okay.
and you will be able to see my apparel on my website. Also, too, what else do I have? Oh, I just came out with my Zen Fit body butter. So
Ooh.
everything is intentional and purposeful, just like
What
this
does the
baby.
body butter do?
The body butter is healing, first of
Okay.
all. So it helps with a lot of things because it's organic and it's vegan as well, so vegan products. So a colleague of mine, she actually is my chemist, she has her whole brand behind organic body butters, and each
Awesome.
body butter is designed for a specific energy.
Hmm.
So this is for the Zen energy,
Okay.
and what's in it is eucalyptus,
Hmm.
spearmint, and lavender.
I knew
Go
you were gonna
figure.
say lavender. I
Go
knew you were
figure,
gonna say
lavender and
lavender.
green. So
Awesome.
yes, you can find that on my website too. We actually are running out, but I do have a good 12 left. So guess what I'm gonna do?
What?
I'm gonna gift you a ZenFit butter so
Yeah.
that you can try it. Yes, and also I am going to gift you a book for just having me. And I know you're a light worker too for others, and you also are a single mom doing big, big things. So
Yes.
I'm glad Charles connected us.
Awesome.
So, and then I have my books. My books are on Amazon. So you can, find me on Amazon, get your books, give me a review,
Okay.
and I'm just here to just change the trajectory of how we think and how we operate and how we respond and react. Respond versus react. We don't want to react, we want to respond
Absolutely.
to life events, because my uncle told me, it stood out when I was going through the story I just shared with you. He
Hmm.
said, Aisha, you attracted this. I was like, no, I didn't. I was all like defensive. He was like, think about it. The man that came into your life, you had a choice and you saw signs and you decided to ignore them. And
Oh
so because
yes.
you
People
ignored
tell
the
me that all the
signs,
time.
because you ignored the signs, now you're reaping the outcomes. So he gave me this formula:
Hmm.
E plus R equals O. The life event is going to take place,
Hmm.
plus the R, which is either response or reaction.
Okay.
And your response and reaction is going to always equal the outcome. So the event plus the response or reaction equals the outcome. And I was like, wow, I never
Drop
looked
some knowledge.
at it. Yes,
He
so
definitely
I
dropped some
forever
knowledge.
live by that. My kids were very young when they said that. They were all sitting at the table when he gave me that, knowledge. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna use that, because life events, like we're living in a pandemic.
Yep.
But there's millionaires being made in the pandemic
Absolutely.
based on the response. Again, based on the education, educating ourselves on what our rights are in the midst of this pandemic. And with the Black Lives Matter movement, it's our time. So, this is a time where millionaires are made. So we get to choose what our response or reactions are.
Right. So let's leave it at that. We get to choose. It was an honor to have you on the show. You blessed us. You dropped some knowledge on us, and everybody go to Ayesha's website and get some merch.
Thank you so much.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
Bye-bye.